A personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, roughing the passer.
Literally haven't started the video and I already get a personal foul roughing the passer.
So there it is, roughing the passer.
What the heck? How do you get 2 roughing the passer calls? Unbelievable, right? Now, I feel like nowadays in the NFL, it's definitely possible. You breathe on the quarterback. Flag, flag, flag. Oh, you touched him? You assaulted him.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense for simulating brandishing a weapon.
Roger, this offseason, please fix the roughing the passer penalty. It is so bad. But I have gotten so tired of seeing roughing the passer, and their players just tackling him. I get protecting the quarterback, but jeez Louise, like unbelievable. We're going on a different level out here. What is cool? What's going on? I hope you guys are doing amazing. We have a 2-round Tuesday. Oh, it's 2-round Tuesday. We got to go through this mock draft, and it's going to be a speed run today, mainly because of my time management skills today. I got to be working like less than an hour, so we got this. We got this. Anyway, my videos have been way too long lately, so we're going to go through this pretty dang quickly. Also, you did a voting pick yesterday in that mock draft, and it was all up to you. I did a random generator from 1 to 32, and we started with 1 over on this side to 4, and then you go down 5 to 8, and so forth as we work through. The number that was selected, I only did this once, I promise, hand up, it was one time, and I landed on number 28, which just happens to be the Tennessee Titans over here. And Arvell Reese was the winner, so booming. You made it too easy on me. You should have picked like Peyton Woodring or something like that. Or I saw a Diego Pavia out there. That would have, oh, that would have been so crazy. But I don't even know how it would explain that when he's moving to tight end, maybe. Who knows? But Arvell Reese was the pick there for the Titans. Carnell Tate. We had one trade up here with the Arizona Cardinals to get Dante Moore, quarterback from Oregon. Self-explanatory. In this mock draft, I gave up a first and second rounder since it's only a first and a 2-round mock draft. And I also include a first rounder next year and all those sort of things. But once again, trades are very speculative. You know what I mean? It's always a little tricky with it, how it be. The forces be with whoever you trade and you're picking. But with the Giants, I went with Jordan Tyson here with that trade down. Get him a top flight receiver. And you see a lot of these receivers, all 3 of them go off the board by that Cleveland Browns pick. Mekhi Lemon here at 6 overall. Just all these receivers are so good, and especially for a position that's so premium, so expensive, getting these type of talents, these one of the top 3 guys, because I do think there's a big drop-off after one of those 3, is why it's so important. And especially even for a team like Cleveland and now the Giants who have more draft capital to play with, we can mess around with some other positions of need later on in the draft. Sonny Styles to the Commanders. I think he's the best player maybe in this draft at the moment. He's so good. There's just no denying what Sonny Styles bring. Yes, it's an off-the-ball linebacker. How do you value that going into the draft? But I think Sonny Styles is going to go top 10 in this draft. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes top 5. He's that good of a talent. Athleticism, he is elite tier. And his overall traits, his understanding of the game, it's all top tier as well. I don't really see him missing a beat. There's not many weaknesses to Sonny Styles' game. And the Commanders could, look at linebacker with Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner. Wagner's in the twilight of his career, as good as he's been, Hall of Famer, of course, but you got to think about that. And Styles brings a huge impact on the defense. We got the Saints. I'm going Francis Mauigoa, tackle, guard. However, in this case scenario, he'd be a guard. You could always put Fuwanga at guard, because I've talked about with Fuwanga, he could end up being a guard at some point, but they've had injuries too there, and either which way, like Mauigoa puts them in on that interior. They need help there really, really bad. Their interior has been putrid, and I don't know other ways to be kind to say it, but they need help there. We're going to improve it with Mauigoa. Caleb Downs to the Chiefs. This was BPA, be your Brian Cook replacement. He's a free agent. I don't expect them to pay him. Add some speed in that secondary. Add somebody that can cover. Caleb Downs is exactly what they're missing in that defense. Besides the pass rusher, I thought about that too, but I think Downs is just the BPA at this point. Bengals going with Lomu. I love Lomu. He's my top tackle, pure tackle in this draft class. Mauigoa might be the best offensive line player that I think is a day one plug-and-play starter, but Lomu to me is the top tackle. I love his athletic traits, and he continues to get stronger. You go ahead and find yourself an Orlando Brown Jr., even though he's played better the second half of the season, that contract. You can always put Lomu in at side at guard early on, because I do think he could play guard for them, or you can work something out. That's all I can say. But Lomu, to me, was it's just somebody I can't pass up on here, because I really like him. Jerron McCoy. We go 2 corners here. Dolphins, Rams, getting some cornerback help in their secondary. Both pretty self-explanatory areas of need this offseason. Keldrick Folk, David Bailey, also self-explanatory needs for the Bucs and the Cowboys. They need pass rush, both of these teams. Now, Folk might be more of a run defender, but he certainly has the tools and will help out this defensive line to go with Yaya Diaby, David Bailey. Bring more talent, bring more juice. And then we got Caden Proctor. The crispy packages are coming to Detroit now, and I could just totally see this one. Dan Campbell falling in love with a guy like Caden Proctor. He brings that it factor as an athlete, an elite athlete for his size. Literally, you don't find many guys that move with the way Proctor does, especially with where Taylor Decker is at right now and his situation, unfortunately. They're going to have to start looking at the offensive line. Peter Woods, Jeremiah Love. You got Ravens getting a stud on the interior. We got Jeremiah Love, a stud at running back. The running back position, of course, is the value talking proposition, but Love is such a dominant player, and the Vikings could use an elite runner. Jets going Ruben Bain Jr., edge rusher. Miami getting themselves some more talent off the edge because we have no pass rush, really, I feel like, and it's something we desperately need. Then we got the Carolina Panthers going Mansour Delane, corner from LSU, getting themselves, this was just BPA. It's not the top need for them on their defense. In this case scenario, maybe Mansour would play in the slot early on in his career, but they could figure that out. Mike Jackson is still under contract. He's had a great season, so this is not a replacement for him right away, but long-term it would be. Trevor Gooseby, tackle from Texas, going to address the offensive line for Pittsburgh, getting themselves that future left tackle. Broderick Jones has not been the guy. So Trevor Gooseby is going to be the guy. Let's hope so, right? And we're going to continue to invest in that offensive line. I think Gooseby certainly provides that investment there. Colton Hood, Dallas Cowboys, self-explanatory. They just released Trevon Diggs. They need secondary help, even to go along with Revel. Put yourself Bland in the slot, and you got to go ahead and improve that secondary. You got Vega, Ioane, self-explanatory. Both of these picks, Chargers, Bills, they need interior of the offensive line. They need offensive line going and looking. Well, the Chargers desperately need offensive line. The Bills just have a lot of free agents there they're going to have to address on that interior. We got Denzel Boston to the Rams, getting them another impact weapon, somebody that can learn behind Devontae Adams, get his release package where it needs to be, and then you got yourself somebody with elite strong hands, 2 elite strong hands guys with Nacua and Boston. We got Brandon Cisse adding some help in the secondary for the Eagles to bring along there to be their kind of like their 3 tandem new Legion of Flyers. I don't know. I'm going to figure something. We'll figure out a name, but that would be pretty sweet with Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. We got Banks going to the Houston Texans. Yeah, it may not be realistic. Maybe they just go back to free agency and get a stud. They always seem to find really good players late in free agency. However, Banks gives them that long-term approach. Spencer Fanu is going to be the pick here for the Browns, giving him some offensive line. Just best player offensive line. That's what you have to do, Browns. Kenyon Sadiq, 49ers. Just a change up right here. Getting another dynamic weapon in for Kyle Shanahan, who can also block and can move, and he's just an elite athlete that you go ahead with George Kittle being injured a lot. Yanzi Pierre, one of my favorite players, watching him recently, and I really like this guy. The Bears get them some more pass rush because their pass rush has not been good, so let's improve it. Damon Wilson, same thing here for the Patriots. Their pass rush has been okay, but however, you look at their free agents and beyond, they got to go ahead and look at towards the future and building some more edge talent in here, and that's what we're doing with a guy that has first-round traits. He's a little bit raw, no doubt, but he definitely has the traits to go in the first round. Amari Washington, getting some more longevity on that interior of the defensive line. You know, the Denver Broncos have an elite defensive line. Let's keep that churning. John Franklin Myers, an elite free agent that could get a monster contract elsewhere. Seattle to finish up the first round. Keith Abney the second. Continue that cornerback room with Tariq Woolen and being a free agent, Josh Jobe, all trying to find them some areas to upgrade there with Keith Abney. In the second round action here, we got the Raiders back on the clock. I'm going Dylan Thieneman, safety from the Oregon Ducks, getting themselves somebody that's going to help that back end, help leak up some of that coverage problems that they do definitely have. Thieneman was just kind of best player available. Maybe you say, oh, there's some other areas like offensive line. I get it. But you got to address some of that in free agency too. And I think an impact in free agency might make more of an impact, should I say, when it comes to a day one starter to protect your quarterback now on Fernando Mendoza. Josiah Trotter to the Jets. Hey, they just got a Missouri monster. Now they go get another Missouri monster. Trotter is definitely that. He brings the toughness. He brings the boom. We need help on the defense in general. So I'm going best player available on the defense and Hosea Trotter to pair along with Jamie and Sherwood. That's a fun 1-2 punch right there. Then we got Connor Lou. He did declare, I do declare he is coming out. So we have ourselves a center of the future. They've been in a flux there, and they need some help longevity wise on that interior of the offensive line. Kevin Zeitler's a free agent. Yes, Cushenberry's not free agents, but they could move on from him after the season. He's not had the greatest year. He's stabilized a little bit. He's been okay since coming back from injury, but they still need to address that. Protecting Cam Ward, improve on the offense as much as we can. This next one for the Giants was an extra pick that they got via a trade from the Arizona Cardinals. And they get Max Ihanachor, a guy that I'm a big fan of. And I know you probably haven't seen this one a whole ton. You're like, oh, he's reaching big time. The Reacher. Where's Alan Richardson or something like that, right? But no, for the Reachers, that's a great show. And I'm actually watching Playdate too. I started that one. That's a fun show so far. It's a fun little movie. It's definitely an interesting one. It's got Kevin James in as well. Whenever it's got Kevin James, you know it's going to be a fun time. But Max Ihanachor is a fun time watching him. Arizona State, right tackle. He's got insanely fast feet. He really does. He's got some redirecting stiffness there. So you could say this guy could be their right guard. I like him at tackle still, but some people will say, hey, I think he's got some versatility there. His overall play strength is where it needs to be. He just got to get better with his hands. That's his biggest weakness right now, but he is a ball of clay that I think will be a really good starter at some point in his career. Katie McDonald, interior defensive lineman, to help stop that run, give yourself that number 2 guy with sexy who I will say, Dexter Lawrence played probably his best game this past week versus the Raiders. That Raiders offensive line, though, not very good. Good to see Sexy back a little healthy, right? We need to see some more of the dancing going on, and then we really get going. Houston, Austin Sherfield. We didn't go offensive line in the first round, so you better believe we're going offensive line with one of these picks. Austin Sherfield going to be the guy. We're going to keep going with the offensive train with Chase Basantes. Hey, double dip the offensive line. I do not have a problem with that for the Cleveland Browns. They need a new offensive line in general this offseason. We got Casey Concepcion, who's available here for the Chiefs. Get them another dynamic weapon. This is going to be a serious dynamic weapon and for them. Somebody that can create space, be a nice separator for them in their offense that they need. We got Kawhi Ramsey to the Bengals, add a nice secondary piece to go along there with Jordan Battle. I think he'll help shore up some of those leaky spots in the back end. Chris Bell to the Saints. This was just one of those areas they can think about the longevity game a little bit. Get yourself another weapon in this offense, even if he doesn't come back until midseason. Blake Miller, right tackle of the future, blindside protector for Michael Penix. Straight, simple, to the point. C.J. Allen, linebacker, Georgia. Need more help at that linebacking room. So let's address that. C.J. Allen here in the second round. The value makes sense. It makes the cards ring. We got Monroe Freeland. I was feeling it with that last pick. I'm feeling it with this pick for the Dolphins. Let's address the offensive line. Whether he plays guard, whether he plays tackle for this football team, you got to start looking at Austin Jackson, a free agent in 2027. And no matter how you shake this, they need offensive line depth because of the injuries that they have. So finding some more help on this off. James Daniels has been injured a lot, so Freeland could even step up there if need be. AJ Halsey to the Jets, get them a nice secondary piece. I told you, we're going defense, man. We got wide receiver with their first pick when Carnell Tate, and now we add in 3 defensive players back to back to back. Halsey is going to be a nice secondary piece with Malachi Moore. The Cage is making his appearance. I just watched him, did a film breakdown. Huge fan of him. They need offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens. I think he fits right up on that interior. Devin Moore, can't wait to see him at the Senior Bowl. Big time size, big time length, all the coverable traits you're looking for out here. Minnesota, get themselves that guy that they've been looking for at the number 3 spot. Caleb Tiernan to the Colts, great tackle prospect with just maybe, he doesn't have, the problem with him is like you wonder, does he have those elite traits and our team's going to look at other players because of that? Probably, but the film is good and he just makes a lot of sense because he seems like a Colt type of offensive lineman. They don't care as much about some of those sort of things. I mean, even though actually Ballard does look at trades, so he's drafted a lot of trades-based guys, but he's also kind of gone against the grain on some things. And Tiernan to me is somebody that I think can stick for them at either guard or tackle. They need to continue to invest in their offensive line. Yeah, you got Travis. Gonzalez at right guard's fine, but Tiernan gives them at least some more competition at right tackle. We'll see how confident they feel in Jalen Travis. He's been okay. They've helped him out a bit, but he's a rookie. Mateo Uyunglele, Detroit Lions get themselves another end, another pass rusher because they need some more help there, right? Who's going to be that other guy? You bring back, hopefully they bring back Al-Qadim Muhammad, who's been a great pass rushing specialist for them. However, longevity-wise, let's find them some more talent. That's what we do with Mateo. And then we go Jay Golday for the Carolina Panthers. I love Golday, man. This guy's a dog out there at the linebacker position. You pair him up there with Trayvon Wallace, I like that. That's a good 1-2 punch combination. I think that would really sting for Carolina in that linebacking room in a good way. Ty Simpson comes off the board here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You were wondering, oh, where's Ty Simpson going to go? Here he is, Ty Simpson of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second round, which I feel better about this. Pittsburgh, maybe you get Malik Willis in free agency. The Jets could vie to get Malik Willis in free agency. Somebody, right, is going to be looking to get Malik Willis in free agency. I expect him to be like that 1 year, $20 million type of candidate this offseason. But in this case scenario, let's go get Ty Simpson in the second round. He's worth a shot here at this point, I would say. I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It is hard. We need to see how he does in this playoff stretch, really, to get his draft stock back. Christian Miller, Green Bay, exactly what they need on that interior, right? They need a big, bad, run-defending, strong beast, and that is Miller's scouting report. Literally, look at his scouting report. That's exactly what it says, I think. No, I'm joking. He really is. Whenever I watch Miller, he's just so strong. He's got some heavy hands. Zion Young is going to the pick here for the Buffalo Bills, improving their more pass rush because Joey Bosa, of course, getting older, a free agent. They need to start thinking about Landon Jackson's injury too. Maybe trying to bolster that depth is super important going into this offseason now. Carter Smith to the Rams. I put him, even though I'm a little higher on guys like Brailsford, mainly because Carter Smith, I think, could play guard as well. And I'm looking at this and saying to myself, all right, he could be their long-term center possibly for Coleman Shelton, or he could be their long-term right guard for Kevin Dotson. Both are free agents in 2027. And I think there's a really good chance they're not going to be able to pay both of those guys, or they're not going to want to because of age and all those sort of things. So getting younger is certainly in play here. Carter Smith will give them a lot of availability on their offensive line and swing depth too. That's important. Lee Hunter to the Bolts, getting them some nice interior help there for sure, with Tier Tart being a free agent. I expect him to be back. However, and Codwell could end up being that guy. They still need somebody else up on that front, and Lee Hunter is a madman. In a good way, of course. Good madman. I guess we're going out the craziness. But Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, even though the E got cut off here, and so did the N. So we're going to go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. But we're going to get ourselves a stud safety to pair along with another stud safety in Kalen Bullock. What a combination that would be, too. I think McNeil-Warren is a perfect complementary skill set to what Bullock brings. What he can do inside and out the box there, can play up top in two high shells, brings it all to the table. Eli Raridan to the Eagles, giving themselves that tight end of the future. Eli Raridan's going to be very much a watch at the Senior Bowl. This dude has all the traits, and I think he certainly is going to rise up into that tight end 2 range mold. Parker Brailsford to the 49ers. I am a huge Brailsford guy. Yes, he would be a center-only prospect, so Jake Brendel would be somebody, like he would sit behind Brendel, I would guess, for the year or for a little bit until injuries arise, and then you can move around because Brendel can also move a bit. But Brailsford is probably a center-only guy, so I get that little argument. But Brailsford was the best available offensive lineman. I didn't want to reach on a tackle at this point. Ahmad Moten is going to be their interior pass rusher for the Jags. They need some more pass rush up on that interior, and I think Moten can do that. Jelani Woods, safety from Texas. Elite range, really good size. He's got the traits you look for. His play started to come into his own this season at Texas. Whether he declares or not, he could certainly come back for a team that could be trying to compete for a natty. However, I think McDonald he's a heck of a football player and an underrated guy at that. Then we got the New England Patriots getting P.J. Williams. Here's an elite ball of clay. If you're looking for that dude to be able to develop behind Morgan Moses for a season, P.J. Williams is that ultimate guy. Now, maybe you ideally get him in the third round because he's very raw. His hand technique, he needs to get a little stronger, but I think his hand technique is the biggest issue right now. And it's just overall comfort with his sets. I see him probably coming back for another year, but if he does declare, he certainly is in the day 2 range just because of the amount of traits he has. One of the best athletes, period, in this draft class. Caden Green, offensive guard, to be their long-term Ben Powers replacement. They could even move on from this offseason to get a little cheaper. Green could slide into left guard. And then Kate Pieper going to be a guard for them. And giving yourself 2 really good guards now with Zabel and Pieper, 2 athletic monsters as well. So that's going to be it here for this 2-round mock draft. as I said before, we're trying to do a little speed run. I hope you guys enjoy and have a really good day. And we'll be back with some more crazy stuff, I'm sure. We'll see how it rolls and which team's going to be next and Vermaken and all those sort of things. But I hope you guys have a good one.